What's up, everybody? Just wanted to give a little information about my oil catch can project that I've attempted to do for quite a while now. Just now got around to finishing it. I didn't take a lot of time on it. Took more time contemplating doing it and finishing it than anything. But I finished with good results. And I ended up buying a cheaper one off of eBay for $20. And it turns out that it looks like the same exact one that the Mishimoto website has for $96. You can see right there. There's where the PCV valve comes out. And we ran it through all the way. It's just fuel line, 3/8 inch fuel line from O'Reilly Auto Parts. So this is the intake for the oil catch can, and this is the exhaust. And that goes back to the other side. Over right here. It wasn't too bad. But I did have to remove the fuel line right here to be able to reach to connect the hose way back there. And you can see how I mounted it right here. Very simple. I didn't do anything too permanent because I do plan on putting a oil catch can that's a little better quality eventually. But this is just more or less given. But before the oil catch can, before I did start the oil catch can project, that same day, early in the morning, I warmed my car up, and I had this CRC intake valve and turbo cleaner. I was really undecided and didn't know which one I should use, CRC or the Seafoam brand. I've heard good things about Seafoam because I think it's a well-known, highly used by, it's just a well-known company. The CRC, I haven't heard much about it, but I did do some research and I did not find many negative things about it. More or less, it's just a lot of doubts people had if there was anything they had negative to say about it. I did worry about my catalytic converter doing damage to it. If you watch my previous video from like a week ago, you'll see when I had sprayed the CRC into the brake line, the brake booster line right over here. I just got this, got it right there, and disconnected this line right here. And I got a sock or a paper towel, and then put this nozzle hose around, put the paper towel or sock around it, and just put the tip of it into the intake. And I would spray for like 2 seconds and then let off for 5 seconds. And same thing until it was all gone. It did take a good 5-10 minutes to do that though. And once I was done, I let it idle for a little bit, and then but very important, you do need to keep your RPMs at 2,500 RPMs or somewhere really close to that while you're spraying this into the intake with one of your vacuum lines. And you want it to be consistent. I used off of a broom handle, a stick, and I cut it just the perfect length. And then with the electric seats in my car, I was able to adjust the RPM accordingly just by moving the seat frontwards and backwards with the broomstick between the seat and the gas pedal to achieve the 2,500 RPMs. And surprisingly, it stayed at 2,500 the whole time, so that worked out really well. But once I was done, I did get in the car, and it says to accelerate up to 3,500 RPMs just a few times before you let it do the 1 hour soak. And the car started knocking. Well, whenever I would accelerate. Start knocking a little bit. So I was a little bit concerned about that, but I believe it was just part of, having so much of this CRC cleaner inside, but I don't think it did any damage, because now whenever I start it, it starts a lot cleaner, less hesitation. I don't feel that vibration as much like I did before whenever I was started. Now it's a cleaner, smoother idle. At times whenever I would start the car before, I would sometimes think that the check engine light was going to come on, just because of the way it felt. It felt like it was missing almost for the first 20-30 seconds it would be started, until it did warm up a little bit, and then it would smooth out gradually. But now I notice it's almost immediately smooth whenever I start it. The car does have 99,000 miles on it. Most are highway miles. I got the car about 6,000 miles ago when it had about 93,500. Now I've had the oil catch can on now for about a week now, and I've driven about 300 miles with it, and everything's gone good so far. So I'm right approaching almost 100,000 miles, and you see this is a fresh cold start. The car hasn't been started for a good probably 8 hours. But it idles a lot smoother now on a cold start than it did before. So I'm actually really glad. I'm glad I went ahead and did the CRC valve clean. I've also heard that sometimes it's a good idea to replace. So if you plan on doing your spark plugs, I would recommend doing spark plugs right after you do the valve clean, the CRC or seafoam, whichever you prefer. I would do a spark plug. I wouldn't change the spark plugs before. And like I changed mine a few months ago. I took the whole intake, took all that stuff off, and now I wish I would have waited until I did the valve cleaner. But initially I didn't plan on doing the valve. I don't really like doing extra things to my car. They taught us in automotive technology at a trade school I went to for 2 years that those things just need to stay on the shelf where they belong. That's where they came from. Leave them there. So I kind of try to stick to that. But I'm glad I did it now. I believe it will do good in the long run, provided I do keep the catch can cleaned out, empty it. I'm gonna go ahead and empty the catch can. So after like 300 miles, this is what it's accumulated. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove. I'm gonna simply just unscrew the oil catch can from right here. here it is. Here's the, man, I know it's not very much for 200-300 miles, but I mean that stuff adds up real quick though.